The second question is, do you think we would be religious if we were never going to die? And I think of all these questions, this is my favorite one. I think this is a marvelous question. And it's marvelous because I can think of two very strong answers that go in opposite directions with this. One being, yes, we would be religious if we were never going to die, because religion is very rich and very meaningful to persons without ever looking at it in that way. And then the other, which comes from my training and thinking as well, is, well, no, we wouldn't. So I want to look at both of those, because I hold those ideas both at the very same time, which is what makes this such an interesting question. Because either it suggests muddle-headedness on my part, that I would think I want to give two very different answers to this question, or it suggests something very important about religion, that to answer this question well, we would need to answer it in two ways. So let's go first with the answer, yes, of course we would be religious if we were never going to die. And to me, what that calls to mind is persons who, when they're answering that first question about what is religion, answer it by saying religion gives answers about the afterlife. And if we think that religion is giving us information about what is going to happen to us when we die, and if we're thinking about all the things that various religions have said about this in terms of where we might travel, the form of identity we might have, whether we will go to a place called heaven, whether we will go to one of some religions, the seven realms of hell, will our relatives be there, will our pets be there with us. When we look at religion as giving answers to, yes, we are humans who die, and so religion is this thing we've come up with to be the focus of insights for us, and give those answers, then my answer to that question is I really think that's a pretty narrow range of what religion is about, and that one could have, and many people do have, a very strong religious faith, are kept very busy in their religious life, and don't have questions about what's going to happen to them when they die. And therefore, persons who think that the main business of religion is to answer that question are really off. And just to give an example, when I teach the world religions, as I mentioned earlier, I focus on how religion gives us markings in the world of places where we stand and positions us on a map in relation to each other. And that map can be garner our full attention without us ever looking at what we might say are the edges of the map, the persons who are no longer with us, and who we mark questions of the afterlife in relation to before we ever die. So if we don't go to the edges of that map, if we look in the middle of it at what's going on, just this week I was showing a video to my students on a pilgrimage to Guanyin in China. She's one of the Buddhist bodhisattvas, also known as one of the Chinese goddesses. And the women who are devoted to her were walking 900 feet up a hill, and every 3 steps they would kneel and give a prayer of thanksgiving to Guanyin. And what were they praying about? Well, one woman's son had passed his college entrance exams, and she had prayed to Guanyin for a year before he took these exams, and he had passed, and so she was at this site to say thank you. Another woman's daughter was pregnant, and she was praying that she would have a grandson. She already had 3 granddaughters. Another woman's mother had cancer, and it seemed to be in remission, and she was thanking Guanyin for that. All of these women were relating to a goddess, to a being who they thought could make a definite difference in their lives, and yet the questions they were asking were about family members, elements of life on a day-to-day basis that really did not bring into question religion speaking to the afterlife, but religion empowering life today and in their current family situations. And we could repeat those examples over and over and over. And in fact, I emphasize in my teaching of religion those kinds of day-to-day functions of religion as opposed to religion giving answers for life after this. Just in terms of energies, to put into a day-to-day religious faith, if it was even predominantly focused on what was going to happen to us when we die, that's an awful lot of energy to put into a lifetime with all the ritual and all the diversity of music, religious art, the literature. I don't know. I think someone has an awfully narrow range.